The key component to success is the ability to draw on the kind of applied research and data-driven analysis that so many of you are engaged in, and that lies at the core of the work of the 21st Century Cities Initiative.
What we're going to talk about today is the Department of Housing and Community Development's relationship with Johns Hopkins 21st Century Cities program and how they help us in our efforts to address blight in Baltimore City.
And since we're talking about 21st century neighborhoods and 21st century cities, I think that it's important that as a people, we have to understand that what we need more than anything now in our elected officials is people who are unafraid to be unelected, because they do the right thing no matter what the consequences are.
Actually give power to the people and let them take their city back, because that's the only way to create sustainable changes, when you have a community that is educated, engaged, and empowered. And that's the only way, and that's the same is true for our own nation.
Jackson is a city like many cities that doesn't have a problem producing wealth. It has a problem maintaining wealth. All of the money that's made in Jackson between 9 and 5 just happens to be out by 6. And so that means that our greatest exports are our money and our talent. And so we're looking at how we reverse that trend.
So we are outside disruptors. You know, we're the people that mayors traditionally say, well, they're just outsiders coming in here to cause up a stir. We admit it, we claim it, we are disruptive to the way things are done. And sometimes you need an outsider to say that, to get everybody on the page together.
In Aurora, we're in 4 different counties. We have 6 different school districts. You know, we have about 4 different state reps, 3 different state senators, you know, so we got to bring all these people together on the same accord so we can communicate and, you know, effectively make change in our city.
If we look across race and look at the white group that has the worst inputs in terms of education, incarceration, they tend to manifest better on many of the socioeconomic outcomes than blacks that have the best attributes in terms of inputs.
We can measure a lot, and we're spending a lot of time getting intoxicated by the problem that we knew we were creating. We intentionally designed it, so I don't know why we're so fascinated with it. We're exactly where we're supposed to be. Race-based policy got us here, and now the appetite is to say, let's not be race-focused. So I don't understand how you do that when it got you here.
Neighborhoods became more unequal at a faster rate than households. So we know that, yeah, okay, there's more inequality, so of course neighborhoods are going to look a little more unequal, but in fact, it's not just that, it's that people are sorting out even more than they were.
So you have different tensions. In Denver, it's how do you balance the investments, the growth, and the prosperity with ensuring affordability for residents across the entire income spectrum. While in Philadelphia, the tension there is how do you look at the investments that are occurring in small areas like Center City and push that out, as the mayor had talked about, to other neighborhoods.
If we do not address inequality, if we do not address income inequality, both economic and racially, in this country, just by moving to the suburbs is not going to fix the problem at all. You'll just have a bunch of poor people in the suburbs.
We have so much that lies ahead that we have to really marshal our forces, but we have to start with the zip code that you're born in determines your life, and we have to have zip code action. So I believe we got to get off the benches, into the trenches, and back on the barricades.
So much of what the preemption does, besides being hypocritical, is it goes at the very foundation of smaller communities and their belief in local control.
It's about who is calling the shots. Is the taxpayers and the people in the city calling the shots, or the private sector calling the shots? And I think we should be ones calling the shots.
I think we need every city attorney to be a civil rights attorney, to really think about their job not just as protecting the city from lawsuits, but proactively defending the rights of our residents in court. And I think having those sorts of people in those positions will put us all in a much better position to fight things like state preemption and fight for our residents in other areas as well.
And it has also emboldened our council members. So we have a courageous bunch of people who are our elected officials, and I think they think maybe this is the time to fight back.
The threat of the state taking over the school system, we've seen people crossing party lines, people who normally don't organize or work together, have come together for the mission of you know, working for the benefit of our students. And so my tagline was, this is where the radical mayor and the conservative governor come together to get the job done.
I can tell you that I was in one of our community centers, and a kid who was about, he was probably 16, came up to me, and this was probably about 8 years ago, and said, Mayor, I want you to know there are no gangs in Paramore. And he was so proud. It's not just the money resources, it's the people resources. But think about having an outreach worker or two that has pretty much knocked on every door of every home and knows every child and what their home situation is.
We created a partnership with 2 nonprofits now that 20,000 children in Richmond Public Schools can now receive vision screenings and free eyeglasses. I tell you, I went to this event, this woman came to me and she said to me, and it will always stick with me, she said, you know what, my son was a recipient of one of your screenings, and he's 7 to 8 years old. I did not know that he was blind in one eye.
Wow, wow.
He left school that day with a pair of glasses. Now, I'm always going to stand up and raise my hand and say, I'll be a part of any partnership that involves investing in our children as a positive for the city.